He went from Milan, Italy. It's actually illegal not to
Hello, my cruising and travel
except at
friends,
funerals and
and
hospitals.
hope we're all doing well
Outside,
here
it's
on this
okay.
fine
This
Saturday
unusual
night.
law dates back to
Let's
the
hold on for a
Emperor
second while my
Bulgarian era
Alexa
and
is
on
making an
staying
announcement,
enforced. It's still technically on the
because
books.
she likes to make
Want to hear
announcements
about another
at
bizarre
8
law
o'clock
from a different
Eastern,
country?
7 o'clock Central. So I think she's now done. So welcome on into tonight's live stream as we are hosting our very first podcast. Yes, we're going to welcome in our podcasters from multiple platforms, from Patreon to iHeartRadio to Spotify and all in between. So we are welcoming them all on in here tonight as we are doing our very first podcast while we are doing our live stream here on YouTube. So welcome on in. And like I said, tonight is an open mic night where guests are more than welcome to come on up, chit chat about cruising and travel and everything else in between with cruising and travel. But without delay, let's dive into that intro, get that intro started and get it out of the way. And then we're going to talk about some amazing topics that occur within the cruising and travel industry. So let's get that intro started, and we'll see you in a few moments. And we are now back after this intro. And once again, thank you for staying all the way through that intro. I'm your host, Rob, with Cruising on the High Seas and Travel. Like I mentioned, tonight we are doing our very first podcast as we are also streaming to Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Patreon. And this is the June's 2026 open mic night, and we'll be talking all about cruising, travel, and everything else in between. We have a whole list of lineup of conversations that we can be talking about. So let's get right on into it and talk all about it. The very first topic that I came on up here, I have a little tongue twister going on here tonight. I don't know why. So hopefully that's the only tongue twister I have rolling off my tongue. But the very first topic we have is talking all about travel documents if you have forgotten your passport or even important documents. Of course, for all the viewers listening, no matter where you're coming in from, leave it in that comment section in the chat if you're here live here with me. And we are going to ask, have you ever forgotten any travel documents? And when we are talking about travel documents, we are talking all about passports, boarding passes, and traveler's insurance. So, and I do see we do have a special guest in the basement. So we're going to bring him on up. And it is our dear friend, Mr. Justin Millington from Traveling on the Beautiful Blue Seas. So here he is.
How's it going, Rob?
Hello, and welcome on in. Just let me get the layout corrected for us, so
Yeah,
we can
talking to someone
so we can see both of
on the
each
live
other.
stream right now.
All right, there we go. And then we're gonna eliminate this, and now we're good side by side. So welcome on into my live stream podcast and everything else in between. And right now we are talking all about the travel documents.
Oh,
And
yes, definitely.
and it is regarding, have you ever forgotten your passport or travel documents? For me, I have never yet done that yet so far, and I'm hoping I don't ever come across that situation, because for us that would be a humongous problem, because the two of us won't be able to get onto the airplane without those documents,
Yeah.
because we need to have passports to get onto the airplane, because for us, wherever we go, we gotta have passports. We are not blessed to be able to travel on our birth certificates and a government issued ID like the fellow Americans are. And even still, I still don't recommend anyone to travel on a birth certificate and a government issue ID, because heavens forbid something does go south and totally wrong, and you have to leave the ship for whatever reason, presuming that it is a cruise, then you will be kind of SOL, as we would call it, because your travel document of your birth certificate and government issue photo ID will not be good enough to get you back home to where you need to be. So you will have to figure something else out. And that can be very expensive and pricey, in a matter of fact.
Oh, for sure.
So, for sure. So, for neither one of us, we have never have forgotten our passports or important documents. Because for us, it's that's more of a challenge to forget that kind of information. And of course, what can happen if you don't arrive at the cruise port with the proper documents? You could simply be denied boarding, even denied boarding at the gates, if you are traveling by train, by a bus, however your mode of transportation might be. Even if you're driving by vehicle, you could be denied entry. Because if we show up to the, for example, for us, if we show up to the U.S. border and um, let me just fix this camera. I don't like the way it's positioned. There we go.
Maybe this
So,
way.
there you go. You're good like that.
Yeah.
Yep. So if we show up to the U.S. border without the proper documentation, we can simply be held there for hours on end.
Something is. I
Yeah,
can see your eyes, but I can't see.
You can see my eyes.
I could see your eyes, but I can't see like the whole face.
That's strange. Because I can see my full self. Let me check something out quickly here. Just checking on the how it looks from the YouTube side. But from my understanding, and I'm just gonna mute myself for a quick moment so we don't have no sound effects. Yep, no, everything looks good on this end, Justin.
Yeah, I can see my full self, but
Yep, everything looks good from what I'm seeing. Yeah, so like I was saying, we can easily be held up there for a long period of time, and then be denied entry because we don't have the proper documentations. And the reason why they would hold us up there is because they have to identify who are you. And that can take a significant amount of time of who you are. So showing up without the proper documentation can be
That could
very
be a huge
time
issue, man.
consuming. It would be a very big issue. And for us, I deal more with the paperwork when me and Justin, from traveling on the beautiful blue seas,
Yeah.
go on trips together. I deal with more of the paperwork side.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like to have a binder that I like to call the book of everything. And literally it tracks, and I mean tracks from the moment I step the foot out of my place to the second I come back home. It literally tells me step by step of exactly what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. So,
And you never know, you know?
like the transportation to and the airport, the airline tickets,
Tickets,
the
yeah.
hotels, if we assuming we have hotels involved, which 99.999% of the time, which means almost 100% of the time, there is going to be a hotel involved.
Yep.
Then the transportation to the cruise port, and of course we have transportation to the hotel.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Hotel and
if the hotel is not offering a airport shuttle, and then the tickets to get onto the ship, and like it just goes on and on and on, all the way up until the second we get back home. So I like to call that the book of everything. And that literally tracks everything. So when it comes to the document side, I'm more heavy on putting all the documents and making sure everything's all lined up. And I know if I don't have something done, then it's on me. It's my fault because it's not done. And I know for sure Justin is always asking me, "Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this?" And
just a double check to
he's
make
just
sure we
double
have
checking to make sure
everything.
that I have everything all plotted out. And I will even put a phone call into him and say, "Hey, Justin, okay, this is what I got. Can you see anything that I am missing?" And he will literally listen and indicate upon if there are things that are missing. So that is an important because you can't be expected um, to catch every single little thing. Well, I try my absolute best to catch every single little thing, but there is a small little itty bitty chance that I could easily forget something. But we're gonna dive over into the chat because I do see that on the YouTube side, Mr. Bill Warmstrong from Warmstrong Adventures has joined the chat and saying hello to myself, Rob, and Justin. Welcome on in to the stream and the podcast.
Come on in. Bill, how's everything with you?
So those are some important things to make sure that are arranged because if you do show up to the port, you could simply be denied. And of course, it also comes down to what kind of cruise, assuming that you are doing a cruise, because mainly we do cruises with me and Justin. What kind of cruise you are doing? If you are doing a closed loop, which is ending up at the exact same port that you were at when you started as an American citizen, as of today's moment date, which is June 20th of 2026, You can travel with your government issue ID and a birth certificate, but like I mentioned already earlier, I strongly do not recommend you do that at all.
Nope.
Because, like I said, if something does go south, totally wrong, you could be in a big pickle, and now you have to find a way to scramble and find a way to get yourself back home with little to no documentation. Because at the airports, they won't accept that
Nope.
at
Definitely not.
all. And especially if you have to be flying back into the country, customs does not accept that those kind of documents. So passports are the best way to go, no matter if you're doing closed loop or open loop. But if you're doing an open loop, there is no questions asked. You gotta have a passport book, and I'll repeat myself one more time. It is a passport book. This passport card, I don't know too much information about this passport card, but to what I've heard from multiple sources, it's not the best thing to have.
No, definitely not.
And we're going to dive back over into the chat for a quick moment on the YouTube side. Mr. Bill Warmstrong from Warmstrong Adventures on YouTube is saying he's doing good. And then, of course, he is also stating that it's about a passport. You need to have a passport.
Yep. All times have a passport.
And it's always best to have that passport because that is the best way to go. Because, and of course, while we're talking about passports, you want to make sure that passport is good for 6 months upon your return of not expiring. Because if it expires within 6 months before you return, most countries will not accept it, even though it's still valid.
Yeah.
They will, most of the times, they won't even accept it at all.
Exactly.
So it's always best to get it renewed before that 6 month lifespan of it expiring. So really, an adult passport book is good for 10 years.
And
Realistically, realistically, it's really only good for 9.5 years. So nine years and 6 months, it's really only good for technicality. But Justin was gonna throw in a comment in there from traveling on the beautiful blue seas.
Yeah, speaking of that, I remember when was it last year? Before we went on our trip.
Yes, I do remember that. And
you called to find out.
Do you remember the story behind of how that all occurred?
It all occurred that we had roughly 3 or 4 months before we get. Well, roughly, I'd say 3 months.
2 months.
2 months.
I think it was 2 months.
And because remember you reminded me in what was it, July or something?
Yeah, but give
last year.
July. Yeah.
And we had about 2 months to get. Well, me specifically to get my passport renewed.
Yeah. So and that was for the Booze Cruise 3.0.
Yeah.
So you almost missed that cruise.
I almost missed it.
Yeah, and
so I had to find a way to scramble to get my passport and then write in the box to see if I can get it earlier.
You had to rush it.
I had to rush it, and then luckily they said that after when I got everything done and signed the thing, the paper, and the forms and brought them in, they said I had 3 weeks that it will arrive. And I was like, okay, I was like, close call.
Brushing our heads, going,
I
"Phew."
was just brushing my head
You're
like
like,
close call.
because
Because I wasn't sure if it was gonna take like either 3 weeks or if it was gonna take like I don't know 6 weeks or however it was gonna come because like originally I was myself my mom and myself were supposed to get ours done together because my mom was planning on going on a trip herself, but then so then I end up having to like wait on my mom's and after that Robert just gave me a call sometime like sometime around July or something like that, middle of July. So then like they asked me if did I get my passport renewed yet because we have about roughly less than 2 months,
but you had about roughly,
roughly
I think you had about
roughly
2 months.
roughly 2 months in. Yeah, because me, I was because I kept saying, "Oh, I gotta make sure I get it done." As I was getting close, like I gotta get it done. But then I had so many things in my mind that like I forgot about that. So then I was like, so then Robert just called me one day. I was like, "Okay, I'm making sure I'm getting on it right now."
Yeah, because but do you remember what triggered me to make that phone call to you?
Because you weren't 100% sure if I got mine done yet, and it
Uh,
was
Precisely, yes, but no. What occurred there was
heard it was the expiry date.
no. What actually happened there, Justin, was
Yeah,
I don't know what triggered my mind to
yeah,
look into one of the apps that we use
yeah,
for the Border Patrol, which was CBP, which
yeah,
is the U.S. Border Patrol. Um, I went in there and I saw a flag of that one of the documents is about to expire.
yeah,
And I knew I was clear. I knew it wasn't my document because I just recently renewed mine. So I knew I'm up to date. I'm I'm good. With fireworks going off behind me right now. And then I looked through, it's like, okay, well, I knew my nephew's is good because we both did ours together at the same time.
yeah,
So that only left it down to two potential people. So the two it left down to was my mother and Justin.
yeah,
So when I took a more closer look at it, it showed that it was Justin's from traveling on the beautiful blue seas on YouTube, saying that it was his documents that was expiring, and he only had like about 2, maybe 3 months.
yeah. Because
So
mine was gonna expire in November.
correct.
So roughly, it was gonna expire in like 3 months.
Yeah, and even with it expiring after we upon return,
Yeah,
that would been like a risky move upon will they accept it, will they not accept it,
yeah,
because you don't know, because they may accept it going into the States,
yeah,
but for the cruise line, they may not accept that because there's not 6 months lifespan left on it.
yeah,
So I put an urgent. I think I text you. I think.
yeah.
And,
And we were leaving to go like
no,
at end of October.
yeah, and I think I put a text into you saying I need you to call me urgently because it's
Yeah,
extremely important.
yeah,
And you called me, I think, within a few minutes or something like
yeah,
that. And we had our discussion about it. And it's like,
yeah,
please tell me you took care of this already. And I just don't have the correct information up to date in my app to get us through the customs. Now, luckily, we don't have to deal with that no more.
yeah,
Both of us have our Nexus cards. So you may ask, what is Nexus? And I'm gonna throw this one over to Justin. And Justin, will do his best attempt, and if he's a little off with describing it, I will correct him with it. So, Justin, can you please tell our viewers what is Nexus?
Nexus is a specific card that you could use it for travel, but when it comes to going into the airport, like after you send off your luggages and everything, and then getting through screening, you can get in going through like a quicker way,
Yes, correct.
a more quicker way to get into.
And it's like a trusted travelers program.
Yeah,
So, but it's up to you to figure out, to actually know what are the current rules of the country that you're going into, and it's a agreement in between Canada and US and Mexico. So with going in between those three countries, it's an agreement. So you need to know what are the current rules, how much alcohol and tobacco, and are you allowed to bring in food products and all that nature stuff, that you would see on your custom decorations form, and see what is allowed and what's not allowed. And at any given moment, you could be pulled aside for a random inspection. And if you said, no, I don't have more alcohol than I should have, which is you're only allowed to have one bottle of alcohol with you. So if you have, say, 2, 3, 4, and you said no, and they catch you with it, you could be in a lot of trouble. And same goes with tobacco and all that fine, amazing stuff. So, like I said, it's fully up to you to know what you are allowed and not allowed to have. So, but for us two, it's actually not that big of a deal because we don't really go over the limit. I think only one time we went over the limit. And actually, it was not really Justin that went over the limit. It was yours truly.
really, Rob, from cruising on the high seas and travel.
And travel that went over. But because it was two products that made that limit go over, the custom officer was very kind in saying, I'm going to split it in half, and half of it is on him. So now you are actually under the limit. And this was the Canadian Customs guy that did it for us. And you would say he was actually pretty nice and chill.
Yeah.
But I do see over in the chat that Najuma Brown,
Najuma,
5514, has made it on the YouTube side. Welcome on in. And we have actually had the pleasure of cruising with her once before. And I look forward to cruising with her again in the very, very near future. I just can't quite remember how near is this going to potentially be. And I think Justin knows how near it could be. Do you know how near it can be?
Near it can be. I know how near it can be.
How near soon can you be cruising with Najuma Brown? The hint is on the screen for the viewers who are here on YouTube.
Yes. Guess what that is?
And what is it, Sir Justin?
Near to cruise, eh?
Yes, it is for your 40th birthday cruise.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
April 3rd to the 10th of 2027 on Mariner of the Seas from New Orleans.
Yes.
Of course, if you want to get on that cruise, book now, and you can book with Rob with cruisebrothers@gmail.com, or you can call him at 409-401-1911, and yours truly, will get yourself booked on that sailing.
And speaking of we were talking about the passports. The funny thing, like of last year, I wanted to get it. I wanted to get it, take care of it from since April. And then, but then my mom was the type was like that's the type like, oh, okay, no, it's too early. It's too early. My mom's the type that wants to wait till like kind of like last minute kind of thing, and then every time I'm so like amped to want to do something, she's like, oh no, hold on, because she wanted us to get ours together.
Yeah, no, the best time to do it, like I said,
Yeah.
is when we got like for example, what occurred was when we got off of what was it? Booze Cruise 1.0. That would have been the best time for you to go off and go get it. Because
Yeah.
then you would had a full year to get it done because you had no plans of doing any traveling
Yeah,
until or was it no it wasn't 1.0. It
it
was
was the magic. We came
coming
off the
off
magic
coming off of the magic with
2 years ago.
with the Juma Brown.
Nujuma, yep.
Yep, and as soon as
And
you got
Dewey.
off that one, that would have been the best time to do it because you had no plans of traveling until 3.0 of Booze Cruise.
Yeah,
So then it would have been done and taken care of. But you need to have a certain time slot, knowing that you are not going to have no documentation to travel at all until your new passport comes in. Because once you renew your passport,
yeah,
then you can't be traveling until that new passport arrives.
right. Yep.
And Najuma Brown on the YouTube side is asking myself, Rob, are you doing 6.0? Matter of fact, yes, I am doing 6.0.
Yep. He's doing 6.0 we know for a fact it's a no brainer. We know Rob's gonna be on that one.
Yep, and I
And
believe
guess who else is gonna be traveling with Rob on that same cruise, the 6.0.
it's me rubbing my chin.
Hmm.
And Justin's rubbing his chin too. Who could it
My chin as
potentially
well
be?
too.
I think it's going to be Justin from Traveling on the Beautiful Blue Seas.
Yes, it's gonna be yours truly, right on the screen with Rob. Jay Mills from Traveling on the Beautiful Blue Seas.
And that will be on the MSC Seascape
And
out of Galveston.
Galveston. And I wonder who's in Galveston.
Actually,
And he also has a birthday on that cruise as well too.
yes, sir. But just to correct you, they are no longer in Galveston. They recently moved out of Galveston.
I wonder where they live now.
They are now up by Dallas.
Dallas. Wow.
They're up by Dallas. They're still in the state of Texas.
Yes, Texas. Yeah.
But they're now up by Dallas. And we are talking about Jeremy and Cheryl from Cruising is Fun Anytime. And they are amazing creators. Make sure you head on over and support them on the YouTube side. And I can't say enough amazing words about them. I could hold you guys here all night long talking about how amazing they are. And yeah, it's like they are just amazing. But going back towards the questions that I've lined us up for, which we've already covered about talking about your passport.
Yes.
Talk about your passports and boarding passes and even travel insurance. Travel insurance is something important to have because heaven forbid something does occur. You you want to wish that you have that travel insurance to have you protected, than not have it, and then you're paying through the nose, through the whatever you want to call it,
Oh, for
just
sure.
to pay to get what the treatment that you need, and then to get you back home. And it's not about only about medical stuff. It's also about all the hiccups that could
Yep.
potentially occur.
That which is a big risk. You don't want that.
So what if potentially your flight gets delayed and you have to fly off to another cruise port, or you need to quickly return back home, or like something magically
Just
comes
happens
up and
out of the blue.
it just happens out of the blue. You want to have that coverage. And there's a story I have, which I've covered it in the earlier live stream. I will cover it again in the future live stream and podcast, where I will tell you that story again of my Norwegian getaway.
Oh my goodness.
And that was,
I was
let's just say that was a very interesting.
interesting, yeah.
And I was traveling with my mother and my second oldest nephew. And that was, like I said, it was a very interesting story. And of course, if you know me, all with my travel hiccups, and like whenever you travel with me, something is bound to happen. Even when Justin travels with me, something always happens.
Something bound to happen.
I don't know. I don't know if it's him, if it's me, it's people I'm traveling with, or
Well, except for on the 3.0, I don't think anything happened on the 3.0.
3.0.
Oh wait, yes.
Yeah, something did happen on 3.0.
The delay when we were in Montreal.
We had
Going to Tampa.
we had well, it wasn't a drastic.
It's like
it
because
wasn't
we were on the plane, but it didn't take off until
yeah. But it wasn't a drastic delay.
yeah.
So yeah, so give me 1 second. There we go. So like I said, we covered the travel insurance, the boarding passes, the forgetting your passports, and all that fun jazz. And of course, let us all know, has that ever happened to you? In the comment section down below, in the live chat, if you're here live with us here on YouTube. And of course, then we're going to go into talk about packing mistakes. And for me, it's always coming home. I have the hardest time with packing. It's not because I don't want to come home, because you know what? Tell you the truth, I don't. I like cruising. That's just the way I am. But it's all about the weight distribution. I always have an issue with the weight coming home. So
because we buy things while we're over there, so that's
well. And the funny thing is, Justin, actually, I hardly buy things, and I still magically be overweight.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
But what it actually truly is, it's called spoiled clothes. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
When you have spoiled clothes, which is clothes that you have worn already, they actually have more weight than actually clean and washed clothes.
Yeah.
So that is actually a very unique and weird situation, where how that causes more weight versus less weight. So I don't have the answers. How's that possible?
Yeah.
And over in the chat on the YouTube side, Bill from Warmstrong Adventures is saying, luckily I've never had a problem, referring to the travel documents.
Yeah, same here with the travel documents. No, never had a problem. even not only never had a problem like with the travel documents while traveling with Rob, but even like when I traveled with my mom and my family, and even though when I went to like land resorts, like
Mhm.
Trinidad and or in Connecticut and all that stuff like that,
And
never had any issues.
of course, like
My
we
whole life never had no issues with
yeah,
travel documents.
yeah, and like I said, I am pretty well on top of making sure that everything's in line and nothing is being forgotten. And as soon as something's booked, it gets printed out right away and it's thrown into the book of everything. So then, or it's pushed into the folder. So when I start printing stuff off, literally it's just print, 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 and thrown into the book of everything when it's that time to start building that book. But when it comes to talk about overpacking or underpacking, I don't have, I haven't experienced that issue yet. And I can't speak for Justin, but from my experiences when I have traveled with him, he hasn't had that issue with that at all. Now, Justin can either confirm or deny that statement. But
Like I confirm that statement. Yeah.
and of course, then when we are talking about within packing mistakes, we're talking about bringing clothes you never wear. That
Yeah.
that does occur quite frequently with me, but I
Mm,
also have the philosophy of if I don't bring it, then I may need to have it. Then I'll have to
yeah.
go and buy it. But if I bring it, then I won't need it.
Yeah.
So
It happens.
I rather bring it and not need it than not bring it and need it. Now
I understand.
there is such thing as bringing more than what you truly need to cover what you don't need. If any of that part does make any sense. So I'm not going to bring 4 or 5 pairs of long pair of pants if I'm
Obviously not.
if I'm sailing the Caribbean.
No.
I would be fine with maybe 2 pairs of pants. But if I'm bringing only 2 pairs of pants and I'm sailing Alaska, I really don't need to have 5, 6 pairs of shorts
No.
because most of the time I'll probably be out on the open decks, and I probably don't want to be walking around on the open decks in shorts cruising Alaska.
Nope. That's a big mistake.
Now, Alaska is a very beautiful cruise to do. Like it's very beautiful, and I can't look. I'm looking forward to the time when Justin actually does go because we are in the plans of trying to find dates to get that cruise booked. But unfortunately, my cruise scheduled is all the way booked up until 2029 already, and we're
Yeah.
only in 2026. So hopefully in 2029 we can actually get him on up into Alaska
Yeah.
and enjoy that Alaska breeze and scenery
Yes.
for him.
Yep, for sure. Especially because Rob told me about the glaciers.
Oh, oh,
They
oh,
want
oh,
to
the,
see that.
oh, oh
Definitely want to see the
yes,
glaciers.
the glaciers up there are extremely beautiful and like it's breathtaking away. And then we were going to start talking about forgetting medications and chargers. And
Um,
medications you don't have to deal with because Justin doesn't have any medication. Thank goodnessly, because it's not. I'm not putting down anyone who has to take medication because if you need it, you need it, and you have your own personal reasons why you need it,
yeah.
and you don't have to share it unless you want to. But for me, I have to make sure I have my EpiPen with me
Yes.
because in the very unlikely Like we're talking the very unlikely
Yes,
that I
very
need
unlikely.
that I need it. I need to make sure I have it. Now I've been lucky and blessed that I've never had to use it to this very date. That did not have to use it, and I like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
But when we start talking about chargers, I do my absolute best. I don't forget any chargers,
Yes.
but I also have quite a few tech stuff. So within my tech gear bag, I'm bound to have a charger that's going to work for what I need.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then I guess I'm forced to go out and buy one. But I do everything in my best cause to make sure I have all the tech gear, chargers, and battery packs, and whatever it might be I need to get me there so I can do what I need to get done and charge all my devices that I have with me. And then we are going to also be talking about weather surprises at your destinations. You can
Yeah.
never know what could come because when you are talking about the Caribbean, you never know
What to expect, you know?
what to expect. Because if it's all rainy, you potentially don't want to be out there in your shorts and t-shirts. You may want to be out there in like a long pants and a light sweater
Yeah.
because you may feel a little bit more warmer versus a little colder.
Yeah.
And over in the chat in the YouTube side, Bill is saying, "Oh, I did forget my laptop charger one time," and it happens.
Yeah. For sure.
And hopefully, he managed to get by without it. If not, I guess Bill had to buy a brand new one. And this is Bill Warmstrong from Warmstrong Adventures on YouTube. And then we have a new viewer coming on the YouTube side. FR4 Friends saying, "Hey, Big Rob, what's your thoughts on Israel? Would you love to hear from you?" I'm not quite too sure what you are. I mean, like I'm a little bit confused. I'm very sorry. I'm a little confused there. It's been a very long day for me, so maybe I'm just not reading the question correctly. But I will answer to you privately in the chat, or you can send me an email and we can chat a little bit more. And of course, you can always find my email on my about section on the YouTube side, which at Cruising on the High Seas
And travel.
and Travel. And the email is Rob with not Rob, but that's the Asian one. The YouTube one is Cruising on the Height Seas at gmail.com. And then it underneath the last item, talking under packing mistakes, is items you now pack on every cruise. What are items that you now pack on every cruise, Justin?
What are like M's that you pack on every cruise, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I know those M's things like where it's like a multi charge like a multi charger thing.
Yeah, like one, yeah, one of those like multi chargers that.
Yeah. That you can where you can like plug in like multiple chargers into like one slot.
Yeah, which that's something I always make sure I have
Yeah.
with me
He always has it.
because literally I just say, okay, plug your thing into here, and now because on a cruise ship, in your stateroom you have a very limited amount of plugs that you can
of-
use. So if you use one of those multi plugs, where all you gotta do is just plug into the wall, and then you use your USB to plug into base, you can charge multiple items at one time. So I have one of those, and I swear by it. I think it's the best thing out there, and we'd like to know, what is an item that you make sure you always have when you're cruising or even traveling, wherever it may take you.
exactly
Sure,
on the beautiful blue seas. Yeah.
for sure, let us know. And then we are going into our third point where we're talking about missed excursions. We have so far we have never actually we kind of missed an excursion,
Yeah.
but we really didn't miss one. And what happened there was the cruise ship could not get into the port of call not once, but twice.
Twice. Yep.
So we actually ended up missing that port of call. So we missed that excursion, but the cruise line took care of that for us
Yep.
and refunded all that stuff for us. Just give me a quick moment.
Yep. I remember.
Yep. So we were actually, and I think the second time, I don't think we actually had any excursion planned.
No, the second time we did
I
our
think,
own like kind of
I
like
think, I
excursion.
think, I think we were. I think we were actually going to explore around the port of Honduras, but
Yeah.
nothing. We couldn't do that because we weren't able to get into that port of call.
Yeah, and we were backed out by a bigger ship.
Yeah, we were backed up by a bigger ship, but that's okay because on actually, I believe it's 6.0, we're actually going into that port of call.
Yes.
I believe it is 6.0.
Yep. 6.0.
So once again, that's 6.0 on MSC Seascape, and you can book it with Rob with Cruise Brothers at gmail.com or call him at 409 401 1911. So you can reach him and he will for sure get you booked on that sailing. And that is from October. Let me just double check. I'm just scrolling up into the chats. October 29th to November 5th of 2028. I couldn't remember if it was the 29th or the 31st. I couldn't remember which date it was, but I knew it ended on the 5th of November. So that's really only excursions where we have truly missed, but it wasn't because of our fault. Now, of course, for me, I ended up also missing an excursion in Cozumel back 2 years ago. And I ended up staying on board because for somehow, some way, I wasn't feeling the best of the best. So I decided to stay on board.
Yeah.
But my nephew, my mom decided to go off and do the excursion anyways. So there was really no loss there. But for Justin, to my knowledge, he has never missed one. And then we're gonna dive in and start talking about not allowing enough time to get off the ship. But before we do that, we are going to dive back on over onto the YouTube side.
Yep.
And we are going to welcome on in Big Time Churros 46. What is your favorite cruise destination? That's a very good question.
Yeah, it's a very good one.
I do like going down to the Caribbean a lot, but for me personally, I find the Caribbean's getting a little dried out because I go down there quite often. So I'm now exploring other destinations like Alaska. I've only been there once, and I've now expanded off to the Mediterranean. So
Yeah.
and I actually
And you did Brisbane.
yes, I've also gone down to Australia.
Yep.
But unfortunately, with the Europeans and Australia trips in New Zealand, those are all going to be more higher ticket expenses to get to the destination. Maybe not to do the cruise, but
Probably like I
I,
guess.
I I'm expanding off to those destinations because there's more to cruising and travel
Yeah.
than just doing the Caribbean. So I'm expanding out more. So I can bring more amazing content to all my viewers like yourselves here on YouTube. And we can talk all about it on YouTube, Patreon, which you can join me on Patreon, which we're also currently streaming on Patreon too right now. Spotify, iHeartRadio, where we can talk all about that, as we also are doing a podcast. And this is the very first podcast of the open mic that I host every month on the third week of the month on Saturdays. So I hope that answers your question. And then we are going to talk about booking independently tours rather than booking independent tours that run late. And that is a very risky thing to be doing, because if you book an independent tour on your own and it does happen to be running late, the cruise ship doesn't have to wait for you because it's not through the cruise line. So then all the expenses, if the ship happens to leave without you, all those extra expenses lie on you versus the cruise line. Now, if the cruise line is running late with their excursion getting you back to the port of call, that's where the cruise line has to wait for you. And if they justify that it's not worthy and costly enough for them to wait for you, and they say we have to leave and leave you behind, then they will pick up that cost to get you to the next port of call and get you back on board. So that will cover the transportation, the hotels, perhaps maybe the food, but they will pick up all those extra expenses if it's booked through the cruise line versus you booking on your own and taking that risk. So my rule of thumb is if they tell you you need to be back on board by 4 o'clock and you're booking an excursion on your own, I would say you want to be back at the cruise port by 2 o'clock and maybe even be back on board. So you know that you're back on time.
Yeah.
So if something happens in between point A and point B, you got that 2 hour buffer to get you back on time. So don't cut it close. It's like, oh well, it's just I'm looking at my wrist right now, pretending there's a watch there. Oh, I can see the ship in sight, and we're only maybe what, 15, 20 minutes from the ship. Anything can happen within that 15, 20 minutes that could cost you hours on end.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
whenever we book an excursion outside the cruise line, my goal is to always be there 2 hours before that ship says to be back on board. That is my goal.
And speaking of that, of getting back on time, don't be a pier runner, because we know Cozumel is known for that.
Mm-hmm. By all means, it is definitely known for that.
I remember last year when we were like, our ship was parked beside the one that we're going to be going on. I think whoever was driving the ship, and someone wasn't back on
We were on Grandeur of the Seas
Grandeur
for
of the Seas.
3.0, and we were in the port of
Cozumel. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Cozumel. I don't believe it was Cozumel. Somebody tells me it was Costa Maya.
Cozumel.
I think it was Costa Maya. But whether it be Costa Maya or Cozumel, it was definitely a Mexican port. And it was Grandeur of the Seas was blowing their horn because they left, I think, about 45 minutes to an hour late.
Yeah, that was Cozumel. Cozumel.
Was that Cozumel?
Yeah, because Cozumel, we were parked beside Enchantment of the Seas.
Oh yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was Cozumel.
And then whoever was driving the ship, I think it
was the captain.
The captain, he was
the captain. He was
mad.
He was blowing the horn.
And he was mad, like when someone wasn't back on time.
Well, quite a few people weren't back on time.
Yeah.
And what some people don't understand is when you are running late, that actually causes the cruise line thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Because they're not leaving on time, and it throws off the whole entire schedule. Because now they got to make up time. They got to cut things back and do a whole bunch of things because you or even you could have potentially been running late. And now they got to make up all that time. So now it cuts into their rest time because they're trying to make up time. But Cozumel is definitely known for pure runners, as Justin was said.
Yeah.
And then the last point in for the third point here is reading excursions meeting times correctly and missing transportation connections. It is extremely important to know where you need to be and where you need to be by a certain time, because if you miss it, they're just going to leave without you. Now, they will try the best attempt to try and find you. But after a certain amount of time, they have to leave without you. And now it's solely on you to reconnect back up with them again.
And then I remember, like, when we were on the 1.0, we were also in Cozumel, like, where one person went to the wrong pier.
Yes, that was interesting. So you need to know which pier are you at?
Yeah, definitely.
You need to be at. And of course, let us all know in that comment section down below in the live chat if you're here live with us. Have you ever had any of those issues of missing excursions, missing your connections, or not reading your excursion times correctly? Let us all know. And then we have two final points that we're going to try and whip through fairly fast, but not too fast. And it's talking all about the onboard overspending. Have you ever done that? And that's going to be covering around casino spending, spa treatment, shore excursion costs, souvenir purchases, and looking at your final bill being shocked. Now, I can only speak for myself and a little tiny bit for Justin from traveling on the beautiful blue seas about the casino spa.
Yep.
We don't really do too much with those stuff. We may
No.
only throw a couple bucks into the slot machines in the casino, but that's all we do. And we purposely go down with just a couple bucks. And once it's gone, guess what? It's gone.
Yep.
And we have a mindset, okay, this is how many spins we're going to do, or we're going to play for so long. And like I said, once it's gone, it's gone. And we don't charge to our room because that is a very easy, and I mean easy, way to rack up your bill extremely fast. And you just say, oh, what's an extra $10, $20? What's another $10, $20? It adds up extremely very fast. So it's a very dangerous way. But when you want to talk about excursions and souvenirs, the excursions, we always try and do our best and pre-book our excursions in advance. So when we're on board, we don't have to worry about booking them because they're done and taken care of. Now, when we want to talk about souvenirs, that's another story. That's a whole different story here. I'm probably more guilty of that than Sir Justin from traveling on the beautiful blue seas.
Yep.
Because I like to splurge a little, as they say.
Yep.
But I do keep an eye on how much splurging I do.
Well, same
And-
here too. I keep an eye on how much I spend as well too.
Because I like to know that I'm not going to overspend on things that I really don't need or get more than what is truly really needed. Because then, once again, we come right back to talking about the weight of packing the stuff back up into your suitcase
Yeah.
and trying to keep yourself underweight, because we have to take a flight back home, and we have a weight limit of how much our bags are allowed to weigh. So, and like I said earlier in today's show, I seem to have to always have an issue going home than going to my ship, because that's what I like to do a lot. I like to cruise a lot.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have any suggestions on how to reduce your weight, I'm all yours in listening. But let us all know if you feel comfortable enough to share what are some of your habits and overspendings, if you have those issues at all, in the comment section down below, or if you're here live with me and Justin here on the YouTube side or Patreon in the comment section in the live chat on the side. But let us all know, and we're going to move on to our final point, and it's talking all about just let me pull it up here on my phone, and then we will cover the remaining. Oh, I have one more after that one. So we have one. We have one more. We have 6. I left off at 5. Number 5 is not arriving at the port early enough. Now, like I said, I had a small issue about 2 years ago, not arriving at the port at all, but that was outside of my control. And in a quick snapshot, the airline delayed our flight significantly long enough where we end up missing the protocol So that was fully out of our control. And luckily, the air was booked through the cruise line. So they had to take care of that for us. But what this is referring more towards to is talking about not arriving at the cruise port early enough because your flight, while flying in the same day, can be risky. That is extremely risky. I strongly do not recommend you doing that whatsoever because one small little hiccup like mine can cost you your cruise.
Yep.
You could potentially also be trapped in traffic and transportation delays. There could even be a weather disruption. It could even like shut down certain roads, highways, whatever, and then and that could even lead into stress of rush hours to the terminal. And why many cruises arrive a day early, which is the best route to be going with, and stories of people missing the ship entirely. Now, I did not miss the ship entirely because we end up catching up with it 2 days later. So we lost 2 days of that cruise. But showing up a day early at the cruise port is your best call. And if you are working with a travel agent, which I strongly do recommend you work with a travel agent like myself, Rob with Cruise Brothers at gmail.com, or you can reach me at 409-401-1911, and I will be more than glad to assist you getting your cruises, your travels, all that stuff booked, and we can talk more about getting you into the port a day early, sometimes even 2 days early. So you won't have any fear of missing it, because the way I like to put it is I rather spend more money in a hotel than have to spend a lot more money catching up to the ship at the next port of call, because that can cost you upon thousands and thousands of dollars versus a couple $100 for a night or 2 nights at a hotel plus your food. So, and you're stress free by going in early. But we are going to quickly dive back into the chat on YouTube side because I did see a couple messages pop on in, and I just got to scroll back on up to them. And Bill from Bill Wormstrong Adventures is saying, Rob, rural cruiser. I am not really much of a rural cruiser, unfortunately, like yourself. I do believe you are more of the rural cruiser, but someday I may become a rural cruiser. I like to expand my ports of call.
Definitely, yep.
By every inch and be able to see as much as I possibly can. Well, I can. So, of course, let us all know in the comment section down below or in the live chat, no matter which platform you are on, about if you have experienced any not arriving at the port early enough. And I am having a very hard time with my tongue twisters tonight. I do not know why. So I hope you guys all don't mind, because these are sometimes very tongue twisters that are going on, and they can get a little annoying sometimes, but also a little funny. And last but not least, we're at the 6th point, is viewers storage and viewer stories and biggest cruise mistakes. It's opening the door to the audience, asking viewers to share their funniest or most experienced cruise mistakes. What lessons did they learn? And last but not least, what advice would you they give first time cruisers? So let us all know what yours are. But like I have already said before, my biggest advice is to fly in at least 1, if not 2 days in advance to your port of call so you can have a stress free cruise getting to the port of call. And if your check-in time is say 11 o'clock, maybe aim to be at the port of call by 10:30, 10:45. Yes, you can be a little early. You may have to wait around. You may not. You never know. But at least if something does go wrong, you know you have that little extra time to get to the port of call and not miss your cruise.
Sounds like a Blue Jay game. Sounds like a Blue Jay game.
So, but Justin, would you like to end up with any thoughts before we end off this live stream and podcast?
My thoughts of that, yeah, just I would just like to like just go through like from what we talked to begin about in the beginning. Like, yeah, let's just make sure every time when you're traveling, just make sure you always have passport, passport, because it's always a guaranteed you can get everywhere you need to go. Birth certificate is not guaranteed.
Yep, and
It's passport.
like I said, the biggest thing is to have that passport because if something does go south and an issue does arise,
Yeah,
with having a passport, you can easily get back to your homeland, wherever it may happen to be, versus trying to struggle and find a way to get back with very little to no documentation at all. So, like we already talked about that early in the show,
yeah,
that is an extremely point, and I encourage everyone to have a passport book, not the card, the passport book, because that is the most best and efficient way. Because some places don't even recognize the passport card.
exactly.
Like I don't know too much about the passport card,
And yeah,
but the book is a standard thing, and even with you doing a an open loop, some places may not even accept the passport card,
exactly. Depending
especially
where you go, no.
especially if you're going through the Panama Canal.
Oh,
They may not even accept it because it's stopping in Costa Rica and places like that. So that is things that some countries may not allow it, and it's simply because maybe the ship is stopping there, but you may not be getting off. And you can say, "Oh, well, I promise I won't get off." Well, the cruise line can't unfortunately take that risk. They need you to have that passport book. That's why getting the passport book is the most best and efficient way possible, and you can have a stress-free trip, cruise wherever the travels may take you.
and make sure fly down the day before the cruise.
Or two,
Yep.
because
If
when
you
we
can, well, but like flying down the day before is always the best thing.
at the
Safest and best.
at the bare minimum the day before, at the
Yep.
very bare minimum. Like when we did the Booze Cruise 1.0 of New Orleans on Carnival Glory.
Yeah, the Glory. Yes, I
We
remember
we,
the
we
Glory.
we went down 2 days early
Yeah,
and we explored um New
New,
Orleans.
New Orleans, like especially Bourbon Street. Oh man, I love the Bourbon Street.
And we got to see the daylight of
Yeah,
it and the nightlight of it.
yeah.
So two much different atmospheres, and trust me, you can't compare them from night to day, day to night. It is two different atmospheres.
Oh, for sure.
So, and I'm for sure we will be doing that again.
Yes, we will.
And before we get too far deep closing this off, we're gonna dive into the chat one final time on
Yes.
the YouTube side. And big time churros 46 is asking me what happened to the Friday lip sync songs. What happened there was I just ended up getting a little bit busy, but I am going to be doing my absolute best to start recording them them again, and trying to have them pre-recorded so they will be coming back out again every Friday. So my goal is to record one on Monday for this upcoming Friday, which will be January let me quick second to pull that date up for you. The 26th. So I'm hoping to have one back up for January 26th of 2026 of my lip sync, which you can find them on the YouTube page of Cruising on the High Seas and Travel. And hopefully I can get in the habit of recording them again every week in advance, so they will be already there for you, because I know you guys love those lip singing shorts that I do. And for friends, it's just saying back to big time Tros 46. That was a great time. I got like for a great question. So I hope that does answer your question for you. And then we're just going to scroll right down the bottom of the chat. And we're at the bottom of the chat. So before we close off, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's live stream of the January open mic for 2026 and our very first podcast for this live stream of open mic. And of course, we will be back again next week with another topic. And of course, like I said earlier in the live stream, we do these open mic nights every single month on the third Saturday of the month.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys all enjoyed this live stream podcast, however you may be listening or watching. And of course, finally but not least, I'll see you on the high seas wherever travels may take us.
On those beautiful blue seas where the live action is at.
So until next time, bye for now.